You're watching Nature Walk. Gabe Magnus.
So, and then I have been out multiple times now to look for snowy owls. With no success. Today we are at Presqu'île Provincial Park. Do the same. Let's see what we can find. Today we have brought along Friendship to see if they can help us in our quest. On this particular day, we went to Presqu'île Provincial Park on the north shore of Lake Ontario. And Presqu'île is a peninsula. Specifically, it's called a tombolo. This is what I just learned in doing the research. A tombolo is where you have an island connected to the mainland by an isthmus. That's a little strip of land that connects two bigger pieces of land. I've always wanted to be able to say isthmus in a sentence. That's a fantastic place to see a great variety of wildlife. But this visit, we were specifically out to look for snowy owls. We started our search at the furthest end of the park, near the lighthouse. This lighthouse is the second oldest in operation on the north shore of Lake Ontario. And what we saw was truly amazing. It was a beautifully calm day on the lake that day, and there was a big section of the lake that had been frozen, but we could see that there had been many cycles of freezing and melting. And so there was these amazing patterns of ice having frozen and then broken apart and then moved with the wave action and wind action. And other parts were still in the process of freezing, and there had been mists that had frozen, and there was beautiful icicles and ice accumulations and plates of ice.
Smooth on one side, rough on the other. And you can see a line down the middle. There's two layers.
That's so cool.
You can see these tiny little bubbles on the bottom side.
Big sections of the lake were starting to freeze in a thin layer, but they were still in the process of freezing, so they were sludgy and slushy, but they were moving in these weird wobbly carpets of ice. It was incredible. I've never seen water doing that before. I've never seen that pattern. It was so beautifully quiet. Our footprints were disproportionately loud, but when you were really quiet, you could hear the ice creaking, cracking, and shifting around and bumping against the shore. It's truly incredible. We were really careful to stay on the shore lest we fall through and soak ourselves or even worse. It was also amazing on this day to see hundreds of ducks out on the lake swimming between and around the patches of ice. There were definitely multiple species out that day, but the ones we got the best look at by far were the long-tailed ducks. And if you remember back in Nature Walk, episode 2, we saw some long-tailed ducks down at Colonel Samuel Smith Park. But these long-tailed ducks were in their winter plumage, which was really beautiful. You can see the males here and the females. Remember the differences between them? The males are the ones with the long tails and a lot more white on them. The females are more brown, and they almost look like they have a dark helmet on with cheek guards. And long-tailed ducks spend their summers way up in the Arctic, feeding on the rich resources that are there, and that's where they have their babies. And then when the weather gets colder, they migrate south to any waters they can find that won't permanently freeze. And usually this is along the coast of the continent, but every year thousands of them spend their winters here on the Great Lakes, where there's lots of snails and mussels and crayfish and small fish for them to dive down and eat. They can dive hundreds of feet down under the water to catch their food, and so they're excellent swimmers, but they can also dive down to escape from predators, like potentially a snowy owl. Besides the ducks, other wildlife were pretty shy on this day, though we did manage to get to see one of the most abundant local residents briefly as they went by. We did see this cool plant near the lighthouse that had lost its leaf, like most plants do this time of year, but had these bright red berries, which people on iNaturalist later helped me to identify as a Gelder rose, a plant native to Europe, which has been introduced here in Canada It has a bunch of other common names. In the summertime, they have these big, beautiful white flowers, which give it the name snowball tree. Although these berries on the plant are very beautiful, and eating a couple won't really hurt you, eating too many is actually poisonous, so I'd recommend leaving those to the birds. It was a true gift to see all of these different things, but we were still hoping to find the snowy owl. We went to multiple areas of the park in our search, and we really focused on more open areas and along the waterfront because these more closely resemble the tundra habitat that the snowy owls occupy in the summertime. Eventually, we ended up on the western shore, where the ice had built up into these ridges through the wave action over weeks of frozen temperatures. And absolutely beautiful and delightfully still there. But we didn't see any animals. Wait. What's that? What's that lump? You see that lump? That weird lump on the ice pile? Could it be? It's pretty far away. I don't want to freak him out.
Snowy owl.
But we're so far away, we really can't tell for sure. We found one. It's super duper far away, but we found one. Beautiful. I truly couldn't believe it myself, but I had to stuff my excitement down. Especially in this open area, loud noises or rapid movements would definitely scare the animal away. I'm gonna have to walk slower. We don't want to scare it or bug it. So we're gonna get kind of 90 degrees from it. We're definitely not gonna try to sneak up on it. Like to get otherwise closer. Oblique approach. Female. You can tell because she's very dark around her wings and her belly. The males tend to be very white. She's beautiful. Finally managed to see one.
There she is.
Another good rule to follow is that if an animal you're observing loses its focus from whatever else it's doing to start watching you, or you see it moving away from you, that's a good indication that you're disturbing it and you should be moving on. This beautiful snowy owl, though, despite turning to check on us a few times, didn't move at all. I just kept scanning the shoreline. You can see here how the owl can't actually turn its head in a full circle, but most records say they can turn their heads about 270 degrees, or about 3/4 of the way around, and so it can just stay in this one spot and scan the whole shoreline for any potential food. Snowy owls spend their summers up on the Arctic tundra, where they are specialist predators of voles and lemmings and mice and other small animals. But in the winter, they often prey on ducks and other waterfowl, and they're powerful enough to take a wide variety of animal prey. It was such a privilege to see this owl on this day. But just doing some research for this episode, I learned that since 2020, when this video was taken, multiple scientific studies have released findings that suggest snowy owls are increasingly in trouble as a species, and their numbers are less than half of what we previously thought, and still declining. If we want wild animals to be healthy and happy, we really need to respect the spaces where they live and respect them and their autonomy as animals. So please note that this is as close as we got on this day. It can be really tempting to try to get as close as you can to an animal for a better look or to get a nice picture, but this will almost always really increase the animal's stress and can actively be harmful to them. So we left the owl where it was and moved back down the beach where we came from. Now that we've been here for a few minutes, we're going to leave. If she stays where she is and doesn't feel threatened,
enough to fly away. That's probably a good thing. So we'll leave before she does feel that back. Win for us. Don't forget cool. I'm so happy. I'm so happy we saw them. So happy.
So it was after over a year of going out to look for one, we finally got to see a wild snowy owl.
Wow. Big success. Finally saw a snowy owl. Patience is key when you are bird watching for a specific bird. Thanks for being patient with us. Patience.
It was truly a gift to see that amazing animal and everything else we got to see that day at Presskill. Thank you so much for watching along on our adventure. Be sure to look for joy and wonder wherever you are today. I will see you next time. Lord, thank you for a good day, a good creation, and good friends to share them with. And for your care about all these things. Amen.
Like, follow, subscribe, retweet, comment, hyperlink.
Should we try it again with like stepping in time to it? So it's like a beat. Like, repost, share, subscribe, follow, retweet. Tweet the first time and then retweet.
Hyperlink.
Other.
And make sure in all your business PowerPoint presentations, you also hyperlink it, clicking on a zooming, bouncing,
Bouncing.
clip art thing.
Everybody loves bouncing cameras. Woo. Okay, bye.